Hello, if you've come here to learn how to 3D model inside of Cinema 4D, you've come to the right place. Here we cover one tool each video, and we've explored every single mesh tool so that you can learn all of them here on this YouTube channel, Ambient 3D Animations. Let's go ahead and jump into Cinema 4D. Today we are going to cover Normal Rotate. And this tool is especially useful if you want to rotate more than one polygon or more than one section on your model. So let's first of all talk about where you find this tool. Well, the first place you can find it is in the Mesh menu over here. If you navigate down to your Move options, you will see under Normal Transformation Tools, your Normal Rotate. So we're going to talk a little bit about what a normal is and how this is different from the typical rotate you could use while 3D modeling. So let's go ahead and drop a primitive into the scene here. You can click here, hold a click, and you'll see all your primitive options. Let's go ahead and add in a primitive cube. Now under our display, make sure that you have garage shading lines enabled so that you can see the edges on your model. I'm going to move this cube up. You can do so using the E hotkey for move, and you'll see the move becomes enabled over here to the left with the hotkey listed below it. I'm going to move this up about 110 centimeters. I held shift so that snaps into place within increments of 5 centimeters. We'll go through those options a little bit more in the future of this podcast. And let's go ahead and give this cube some segments. So we have something interesting here to rotate. I'm going to add 4 segments in the X. You'll see your attributes for your cube when you have it clicked on in your Objects Manager. You'll see your attributes for it in the Attributes Manager. So we need 4 segments in the X, 4 segments in the Y, and 4 segments in the Z. And you'll see this updates on our cube. You can see it's being divided into 4 going in the X, Y, and Z directions within our 3D viewport here. Now let's say we want to edit this. Well, we have a problem here because I'm unable to, even if I'm in polygon mode, I'm unable to click on these polygons here. So what we're going to need to do in order to edit this is make it editable. Now there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can click this button down here, make editable, or you can use its hotkey, C. So click C or hit this button here, and now we have something editable, and we're in our polygon mode, which means we can click on our polygons. I'm going to click on these here. So we talked about how you can find the normal rotate in here. And you can see that now these are no longer grayed out, these tools, because we have polygons selected that we can use this tool on. Now, however, there's another way you can access this. And this is one of my favorite things about the mesh tools is that they're easy to remember their hotkeys because you just hit the M hotkey and that pulls up the whole menu of all the other buttons and all the other tools you can access here. So what we want to access is the very first one, Normal Rotate, and it says you do so by hitting the comma key. So we're going to go ahead and click that right there. And now we have the tool activated. You can see it activated here to the left. You can see that we have it activated here. You can see that we have our tool also activated here in our Attributes Manager. We have a few options here. I'm going to run through these quickly and explain to you a little bit about what normals are, how they work, and why we may want to use them to rotate. So to start off with, you can choose your number of degrees here. Under Tool, you can choose to see your updates in real time by having this box checked so that you can see your polygons rotating in real time if you do so wish. You can choose to apply whatever value you have here by clicking this button. You can choose to do New Transform, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more depth in a moment. So if you want to know what that means, hang in there. And here I'll just click and drag my mouse and you'll see the values update in the rotate section we discussed, and you'll also see that I am rotating this. And yes, we are rotating this in real time because we have real-time update turned on. Now, what is a normal and what does it mean to rotate around it? What are we doing here? Well, let's talk about this. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to use Shift-C to open up my doodle tool. So I'm going to search for doodle. And I will use my doodle paint to illustrate this here for you. Now let's choose a vibrant color so you can see what we're doing, like green. So this polygon here that I am highlighting, this is our polygon, and the normal direction is perpendicular to this surface. So this is the outside of the polygon. You can tell because it is orange. And the inside would be purple, but we'll turn that around in a little minute to show you. So normal to the outside surface, we'd have this pointing outward. So this is perpendicular to the surface going in the normal direction. So that's the normal. So imagine the polygons are rotating around that like an axis. Like think of the axis on a car and the wheel is rotating around that. We're doing that here, except the normal direction of the polygon is the axis. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this here. Click on our cube, and I'll actually go inside of the cube here so you can see the back side of the polygon is purple. So that visual indicator is here so that you can tell if you're looking at the back side or the front side of a polygon. And that's some of the basics of 3D modeling. You got to know what side you're working with here. And now let's go ahead and click some more of these and talk a little bit more about this tool in depth and why you may want to rotate around the normal. Well, let's say I want to rotate both of these sides at once and apply the same thing to both. Well, let's click M, comma, to activate normal rotate, and we can rotate these. So this is rotating around the normal on both of these sides. So that's quite useful because even if you have polygons pointing different directions, you can have them rotating the way you'd like them to go. And let's say I want to apply that same rotation in number of degrees to this upper portion here. I can hit New Transform, and that will apply the previous number of degrees to the new selection. So that is where this tool comes in really helpful. And that is why you may want to rotate using this rather than grabbing a polygon. I'll show on here actually. Rather, I hit undo, Control Z, Command Z for Mac. I hit undo so that this goes back to how it was before, because you can also rotate using the R hotkey. And then you'll see you get these controls up here. Now this allows you to rotate any direction. So you can see that we can really rotate a multitude of ways. And there's different situations when you would want to use either one of these tools. So I think of this as a very foundational skill for 3D modeling to know your rotation options. And if you would like to learn more about 3D motion design or career tips or anything like that, I have a ton of resources on my website, Ambient 3D Animations. If you'd like to learn more mesh tools, you can check out the playlist I have here on all the mesh tools inside of Cinema 4D. I hope to see you here next time on Ambient 3D Animations.